And yeah, spoiler warnings. This is the biggest one right now after yesterday, and I do want to apologize to you guys. I know I've done a lot of videos on the whole Rick leaving situation, but I am pretty excited about it right now to find out yesterday, and I did a video on this yesterday if you didn't see it, that Robert Kirkman had actually confirmed, or has confirmed now, that Andrew Lincoln is in fact going to be leaving The Walking Dead. So it wasn't just the laugh and the things he said in that interview right there. There was more to it than just that. Like there's another quote here that we'll go into, and I'll have the link in the description to Uprocks where you guys can check it out. But what he actually said also was that, quote unquote, so about the Walking Dead departure, he said, referring to Andrew Lincoln, that Andrew Lincoln wants to do something special on the way out. He told Kevin Smith, "We have something amazing planned." I wouldn't want to spoil anything, but anybody who has been a fan of the journey, who loves Rick Grimes, who loves the world of Walking Dead, you're going to want to see what we do. So it wasn't just the laugh kind of response yesterday in that video. Like he is confirming, and I know like, well, there's a couple of layers to this, right? First of all, people don't trust what Kirkman says, which fair enough. Like you probably shouldn't trust what he says. Fair enough. He does mess with us sometimes. He does mislead us sometimes. So that's true. And unfortunately, we can't get over that. Anything he says, if you don't trust him at all, and you think well, sometimes he has misled viewers before. It's true. Sometimes he'll say things that are not, that don't come to fruition later on. Sometimes they'll tell us that T-Dog is going to be a main concentration in a season, and then very same season, season 3, he's killed off. So there's that. So unfortunately, we can't get past that. We can't get around that. When he says something that people are like, well, I just don't trust anything he says. It's like, okay, yeah, that's true. But he is basically confirming for us that Andrew Lincoln is leaving and wants to do something special on his way out. So it's not just the part where he kind of laughed and said it looks that way, or it seems so, but he also said as well too that Andrew, like, this is legitimate. Like, Andrew Lincoln wants to do something special as he's leaving the series, and they have something amazing planned for it. We know John Bernthal's coming back to do at least one scene as Shane, and he says he doesn't want to spoil anything. So, but anybody who's been a fan of his journey, who loves Rick and who loves The Walking Dead, you're going to want to see what we do. So, yeah, I mean, and it's not to say 100% for sure that he will be killed off. In season 9, and we'll never see him again in the series. I would think we'd probably see, even if they did kill him off, we'll probably see him in some kind of hallucination or dream sequence, or the ghost of him or something like that at some point later on in the series. Like Michael Cudlitz, who's going to be directing episode 7, from what I've heard online, who played Abraham Ford in The Walking Dead. I mean, it's with this one too, is like, I get it. People are, and I've seen a lot of this recently as well too in comments. People are not happy about this one. It's not good news to hear that Rick is leaving, and people asking Trevor, why are you smiling, this kind of thing. And I'm not smiling because I want to see them kill Rick off, or I want to see Rick leave the series. I'm just trying to stay positive with you guys, and I'm excited for the trailer, and I'm excited for other stuff that's coming up. But I mean, I'm not going to convince anybody, I guess, that he is for sure going to be leaving. But that's what Kirkman's saying in that interview there, is that he knows that he's leaving, and that Andrew Lincoln wants to do something special on his way out. And who knows? I mean, maybe they could be playing kind of some tricks on us here, and he could come back later or something. He could leave in a helicopter, or he could leave, go look for Morgan, or there's some other ideas here for what they could do. But the way I've taken all the news, personally myself, as I've read through all these articles in the last couple months, is that it seems like Andrew Lincoln has had enough of doing Rick and The Walking Dead show. He wants to do other things with his career afterwards. He's put 9 years, full-time has been his main thing for all these years, to lead the series and to be the forefront running character in one of the biggest series in the history of television. And he's good. He's had enough. He wants to be killed off. He said in interviews before that it's been kind of sad for him to kind of wave everyone off the piers. Everyone else is left. You can look at the season 1 posters. I've been putting in some videos recently, and what you'll see there is that pretty much everybody on that poster, because a lot of times, a lot of the posters, Carol and Daryl were not on those posters. Same with Morgan too. So everybody else, was on the original kind of Walking Dead promotionary art for the first season, and a lot of them for the second season, except for those I just mentioned, have been killed off the show. So now that Carl's been killed off too, it's kind of like almost everybody from the first season or so has been killed off, except for those 3 I just mentioned. So it's really crazy stuff, and I guess it should be totally expected. It should be totally normal, and also too as well. Fair enough. The people don't trust what they're saying. Fair enough. We did get the dumpster situation, so we've had fast ones pulled on us. We've had trickery, this kind of thing, and a lot of times online reports can be wrong. So we'll see in this trailer later today, which I cannot wait for. What comes of that, and whether or not there's anything in it more to acknowledge Rick either being killed off or leaving, and we'll have to see how this whole thing plays out. But the new sneak peek trailer they did, which is a really quick kind of 25-second teaser to a trailer. Like, it's bad enough we get trailers now that tease the season. Now we're getting teasers to a trailer, the 25-second clips to a trailer, and it really looks to be playing up the Maggie versus Rick or Maggie versus Michonne, Alexandria versus Hilltop type of angle. So that could be interesting for the season, and I'm looking at the trailer thinking they might be kind of misleading us in the trailer this year, because they kind of do that sometimes. The season 6 trailer was all about Morgan stopping Rick and this kind of thing, so look for that in the trailer today, that we could be getting some misdirection, and again, that's why a lot of people don't trust what Kirkman's saying or trust the information that's coming out, because they're like, well, they misled us before. In season 5, they said they were all going to go to Washington together and cure this thing with the hunters and all that, with the termites, Gareth and the others. So yeah, I mean, fair enough that you don't trust what they're saying. But for me, the way I take it is, it's basically, maybe not 100%, but 99 point whatever percent, 99% confirmation now that Andrew Lincoln that it's true that he is leaving, that's what's happening, and we'll see if they kill him off for sure. That's what I think they're going to do. That's not confirmed. Whether they kill him off, whether he leaves, I think they're killing him off. He could leave, and that could be wrong, but that's harder to say, and that's more speculation. Maybe you go, right now I'd say 75% chance to kill him off, or 60 or 70, versus the the rest of the opposite. So I'm leaning towards being killed off, somewhere in that percentage, I'd say. But again, that's just my subjective opinion on the story. That's more like story related, and you can't really say for story versus, you just don't know. So that's that, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I took it yesterday as 100% confirmation to me that yes, this is true. It's not just some kind of rumor on the internet. It's not just some kind of whatever. All the information that's been coming out is legitimate. That he wants to be killed off the show, or he's had enough of doing the show, and he wanted his exit strategy, and that's it. And this is it coming up here. So. Yeah, man. Slayer 4365 said, finally, something to put the delusional retards to bed. 100% confirmed now, as if it wasn't already obvious enough months ago. So, unfortunately, let's not call each other retards, right, Slayer? I mean, this is an emotional time. This is an emotional situation for people. It's 9 years, and not everybody is okay with this. Some people are super angry, and they're just they don't want to believe this at all. They're totally rejecting of it. So, yeah, I mean, it's I think it's normal right now, and a lot of kind of arguing in the comments, fighting back and forth, this kind of thing. Just to say to you guys, try to be respectful to one another. I know it's an emotional time. It's an emotional moment. I get it, right? But no, I'm not going to go full trigger on you, full dig on you. But, it's an emotional moment. I get it. That one's free. We can get the free shots in, but after that, let's try to be respectful of one another, right? So we don't want to get Glenn killed, right? So that's what it is. Ryan Craig says, knowing Kirkman, Rick doesn't die after hearing this, right? So he thinks the opposite, right? Cloak and Dagger says, people are still in denial, man. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Kirkman confirms it. It says that, he wants to do something special on his way out and this whole thing. He's saying yes. Like, that's, to me, he's saying yes there. That he is leaving, yeah. So Dana, the doula, says, who I feel bad for, Angela Kang. She's inheriting a train wreck this season, and I agree, man. She's absolutely. It's kind of like the whole thing's going to hell, so he's just like, here, you take it. He's like, I'll step down. The fans don't want me, so you take it. You can do it, right? He's a heel producer character, right? Is Gimple at this point? So people don't like Gimple so much anymore. Wonder how that die comic is going to sell, considering how people feel about him after season 8 and Carl and the whole thing. Dashing David says, why the F would they confirm this? Like, honestly, why? And it's really tricky, man. I'm wondering, because I'm not sure right now, I'm not in on the details, whether or not he's at Comic-Con, meaning Andrew Lincoln, whether or not he's actually there for the panel and stuff. I don't know if he is. Maybe he is. I would hope so. And I hope people, give him a standing ovation, that whole thing. I'm sure they will if he does go. And maybe they tell him to stay home this year or something just because. Or maybe it promos it. We'll see, man. They can handle this some different ways in terms of PR, right? With the whole news and everything that's going on. So we'll see, man. But why would they confirm it? I think it's just that, it's so out there and it's so prevalent and people know about it. It's like you can't really... There's certain times when you could try to cover up. Like you could say, okay, something's out, but we're not going to cover it. It's spoilers, whatever. We're going to brush it under the rug and hope most people don't find out about it. There's certain situations when that happens, but this is literally like this started coming out as soon as they started filming the season. Like before they even got into, halfway, or before they even got into a good number of episodes into it, we started hearing about this, pretty early on. So, when you look at that, it's like by the time the season comes around, everybody's basically going to know. So maybe it makes sense for him to confirm it. It makes sense for them to maybe address it in the trailer. I don't know. We'll see what the trailer looks like, but I wouldn't be too surprised at this point after that confirmation if they do. Tudor, it definitely will pump season 9 for the first half. People are going to want to see that with all the speculation and it's going to be, you want to talk like water cooler talk, which has always probably helped The Walking Dead word of mouth and everything. People just talking to each other like they're going to kill Rick off. Like, are you crazy? Like, really? And it's like, yeah, I've got to see this season. It's like, yeah, everybody's going to watch this season, at least the first half, because, man, we got to see what they do, right? BWolf20 says, true confirmation comes from watching season 9 at the same time it feels like confirmation. And you're right. We actually see it in the episode, and we actually have to see the death, right? And even sometimes when we do see deaths, dumpsters and whatnot. So, true confirmation is like when you actually see it in the episode. That's true. But this is as close as we're probably going to get to, actually seeing it in the episode, unless they put it in the trailer or something, parts of it in the trailer. Ernick Torres says, this is it. The Walking Dead is doomed. Thomas Larson says, sounded to me like negotiations didn't go well for Andy and Robert/AMC. Yeah, I don't think they did. I know his contract was up at the end of season 8, and it sounds like maybe they were renegotiating. I was under the impression that he was going to re-sign for another, 5 to 7 years or whatever. But it sounds like clearly that didn't make sense for him to do, or he just didn't want to. Maybe after season 8, after they killed Carl off, he decided that he wanted to try other projects. John Bernthal's done certainly fine for himself after he left The Walking Dead. He's probably done even better than he did when he was on Walking Dead. I'm sure he has. That's not even that's a guarantee. He's done better than afterwards than when he was on Walking Dead. So who knows? Maybe for Andrew Lincoln it'll be the same thing, and maybe that had some kind of influence on him, or he decided like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm locked in this. It's a good job, but maybe I test the waters, I do some movies or whatever, I make, 10, 20 million bucks on some movies or whatever the next 5 years or whatever, do a few different movies and make a whole boatload of cash, and I don't have to spend, every year in Georgia sweating like crazy in the sun and everything, doing all these scenes, 14-hour days and whatever. Starts to make sense to be like, okay, well, maybe I'll move on, right? So, and then maybe if the negotiations weren't really going to offer him as much as they probably should have, then maybe that's really why. So, and for Ernick, is The Walking Dead doomed? People have said what they've said. Half the audience plans to leave after Rick is killed off, so it's going to hurt, I think. At first, it'll be a big season 9 first half. After that, it's probably going to hurt quite a bit. But, it brings to question, is half the audience enough if people do what they say they're going to do for the series to continue? And we're going to have to see. Is it enough? Don't know. Steve S. says, is there any way they could use Rick's death to turn Negan into a good guy? I know this sounds crazy, but if there was a way to do it, it would be to have Negan risk his life to try to save Rick. So that'd be cool. Either way, they've got to fill it with somebody. It looks like Daryl's going to be the guy, so it's what it is. We'll see how people feel about Daryl after Rick is killed off, because he is a fan favorite. But other characters like Negan and the others are going to get more. Everyone's probably going to get more time. As he leaves, it's going to leave a big void in the series, and other people are going to have to try to fill that void as best as they can. Will they be able to? Half the audience says no. Half the people say, well, let's give them a shot, right? So let's see what happens. Letty Diaz says, Trev, have you heard Greg Nicotero has other plans, doing other shows, etc.? So I won't be surprised if season 10 might be the last season for The Walking Dead. Well, maybe, but it sounds like AMC doesn't want to let it go. They have agreed to pay Norm Reedus, I think, a lot of money, according to reports, which could be wrong. Season 10, I wouldn't be too surprised if they wrap it up in season 10, but I think they probably will go on further just because it's got potential to continue. And, we'll have to see if people do what they say they're going to do. People say, going into that season, people say they're going to quit after Rick. And I know a lot of you guys feel that way as well, too. But we'll have to see. I mean, if they handle it masterfully and they really have compelling story for that second half of season 9, then maybe people will be like, well, it's still on, so we'll give it a shot. It's never going to be as good. It's never going to be the same. So maybe I shouldn't say as good, but it'll never be the same after this. But maybe it can be a Walking Dead 2 or a different version, a sequel to that first section of the story with, Rick, Carl, Lori, and the immediate Grimes family. And now those other characters are going to move to the forefront, and we're going to see a Walking Dead 2. So see what that looks like. But I have heard a creep show and some of the other things Greg McDarrow's going to do. Maybe he's in the know. I don't know. Crazy stuff. Russell Scott says, just end the show already. This is getting pathetic. And Sean Kelly said, denial is the first stage of grief. Just a quick message to you fanboys. So, and then the Scrolls Gaming says, Walking Dead needs to be canceled. So, I get it. It's an emotional time for everybody. People are at a different, people are feeling differently about this. Some people are feeling one way, some people feel another way. And for now, let's just see what the trailer has for us after this, guys. If you've seen the trailer already and you watch this video, I'll have my review for the trailer posted soon, as well as my review for Fear. I'll see you guys soon. I'll wrap it up here because we probably don't have that much time. I want to get this posted for you guys before the trailer hits. As always, this is Trev, saying peace, and I'll see you guys back really soon.